This show contains spoilers and swearing. Feliz Navidad. Hello, and welcome to the Book of Noel. That's right, it's a very clever offshoot from our regular podcast, The Book of Nowt, hosted by myself, Deeney, and my brother Conal down here. But as you can see, we've brought two friends. Say hello to Sazzie Kluvitse and Lizzy Denning. She's mad. Look at the little faces.
Hello. Hi.
So here's a list of the films we'll be covering. Be sure to watch them if you can. A little bit of homework for you all. Coincidentally, all of these films are on Netflix. We are in no way affiliated with Netflix, but then I'm not sure that this is a good advert for that service. The first one we're going to do is 2019's Last Christmas, available to stream on Netflix. And we're going to have a quick little synopsis from your friend of mine, Lizzy Denning.
Look, okay, it's not my fault.
I bet nothing's ever your fault, is it, darling?
So, Kate is an elf at one of those kind of god-awful Christmas all-year-round shops in Covent Garden. But she's more than just a pair of curly shoes. She wants to be musical theatre. Her life's a mess. She's sofa surfing to avoid her family, in particular her mum Petra, who has the world's least convincing Yugoslavian accent. Everything and nothing changes when she meets Tom, a man who will listen to her without ever talking about himself. Then a twist happens, which will have you saying, they wouldn't do that, would they? Would they?
Lovely. So that's one way of looking at it, but let's enter the bizarro world that is Conal with his conopsis.
Conopsis! Written by Emma Thompson and George Michael, a woman obsessed with George Michael 20 years too late falls in love with her own heart at Christmas. The mother of dragons keeps seeing this guy around London and goes on nights out and stuff with him. She has what I like to call a knackered heart, and Nanny McPhee is kind of favouring her over her own sister because of that. And even though she is a bit of a selfish piece of shit, her mum loves her more than her own sister. So that's nice. Long story short, the love rat is actually a ghost, like Bruce Willis in that film where Bruce Willis is a ghost. And everyone says Bruce Willis was a ghost all along. And everyone is shocked, but can never watch the film again because the surprise of knowing Bruce Willis is a ghost is over. And it's not as appealing the second time round because Bruce Willis isn't a good ghost. I prefer Death Becomes Her.
Is that it?
No, I've got more.
There's more.
So the man got squashed by a lorry. The lad, not Bruce Willis, while on his bike, and the heart survived and carried on beating, and they dropped it into her chest to beat forever or until she dies. Not once does she say, I never used to like chicken, but since the transplant, I now like chicken, like all transplant patients say. She figures all this out at the end, and it's a bit sad she can't actually shag the ghost. But sometimes the thought's enough, isn't it? You know, when you get into that zone, it can be enough. Then the end happens, and it's all Emma Thompson and Richard Curtis and all that shit. I don't know. I had to fight sleep at that point.
Is that it?
That is it.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Wham!
I'm Andrew Ridgely, and this is the story of Last Christmas by one.
What's the opening scene, sir? Do you remember?
So the film opens, and I've seen this film before I watched it again for this, and the film opens with
Big fan.
I'll watch anything that Henry Golding's in, so don't ask me how many times I've seen Crazy Rich Asians. But anyway,
Was he the ghost?
why are
He's
you
always a
ruining
ghost.
it? Why are you ruining it? Yeah, he's the ghost.
He's ridiculously handsome.
He's unbelievable. It's and then he's a billionaire in Crazy Rich Asians, and it just takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. He's what Conal and I call in our community the enemy, because he's another level of handsome.
Yeah.
And he's kind, and he
You
helps
don't know
homeless
that.
people. Yes, I do. I've seen the film. He's super
fair
kind, and he helps homeless people, and he's a billionaire. I'm just amalgamating all the films now. But the film opens with a beautiful rendition of George Michael's Heal the Pain by a bunch of schoolgirls. in a church in Yugoslavia, which, I mean, why? Like, I love that song. I love George Michael, but what church did they go to? That they're like, oh, it's Christmas. What we're going to do?
All the Christmas songs that George Michael's done. We're going to do that one.
Yeah.
Did you do
At least
any
it
more?
wasn't Let's Go Outside.
And then cuts to, just to remind us all that this is a jukebox musical. It has Khaleesi, who I'm now going to call Bob Lizzy because she's got a Bob instead of the Bob Lizzy, singing Heal the Pain at a jukebox in a pub. And I think that's a subtle beginning, and it carries on at that level.
Tell you what, we'll have a monosyllabic utterance of how we actually felt about the film on 3. 1, 2. It's fucking rubbish.
Do you know what? It is, but also, it's quite sweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite sweet.
The plot was the turkey, and then the trimmings I quite liked. I quite like Emilia Clarke.
Working hard over here.
I quite liked some of the scenes with her friends and her just dicking around. I quite liked the shop stuff. It was actually the romance bit that really I thought was bizarre.
And I guess if you'd seen this, because I remember the comedian Tom Neenan on Twitter, like as soon as that trailer coming out, saying that's a ghost. Like 6 months before the film gig, he just immediately went, "That's a ghost. It's a ghost. It's a ghost. There's nothing else. He's a ghost."
Got to about halfway. Got to about halfway, and I messaged Joe, and I was like, "If it turns out she's got his heart, I'm going to lose my shit."
Lizzy, have you never heard the song Last Christmas?
Yeah,
Because the next line is, "I gave you my heart."
She's heard the song Last Christmas, but never at any point thought, tell you what, there's a film in this. There's an actual film in this. But not metaphorically, very literally, I gave you my heart.
More fool you, Lizzy. You should have been on it.
But then the very next day, she's meant to have passed it on. Like, she's not meant to contain the heart if she's not listened to the song.
What I think that means is I go out on the piss and I eat burgers. I'm not looking after the heart. See what I mean?
Yeah.
She's not keeping hold of it. This is some real shit, guys. they really thought about this.
I just feel that Henry deserved better, because I feel like he was, in order to make the plot, I'm going to put in quotes, work, because I'm not convinced it worked, but in order to do that, he had to be like a real manic pixie dream boy and just like have no personality and just be this sort of weird echo chamber for her to just vent at. Like, I felt like he deserved more, because I agree, I think he's completely charming as an actor, and I just didn't really go for the character, so I wasn't really that sad at the end, because I was just like, well,
terribly written character. Like just the things that happen to them, like the meet cute, the kind of industry term for when two eventual lovers in a film connect, first meet and share a little sexy moment. She sees him through the window and he's looking up at Covent Garden, like the rafters there, and he points out a peregrine falcon that proceeds to shit in the mother of dragon's eyes, which sounds a lot funnier me saying it than it was to watch the thing.
He says to her, "Oh, it's good luck to be pooed on by a bird." It's like, yeah, not when it's in your eye, though. That's the worst place it could shit. I need to go to hospital for this.
Yeah, and
this is too much.
Yeah, it's mouse bone poo as well. It's not like nice seagull poo. It's peregrine falcon poo. It's the fastest poo of any animal in the world.
The most premier poo that you can get out of a bird, though, isn't it? It's the best one.
Oh, damn it.
This is the thing, his whole thing is look up.
Look up.
Like, he got hit by a lorry because he wasn't looking. Like, is that really what his advice to people is? Is it look up and keep looking at the amazing things that you'll have missed as you walk through London, or is it look up so you don't get hit by an articulated lorry in the middle of town? Like, I don't.
Just got the payoff for that as well, because he says it about 9 times and you're like, I got it. And then I thought that there would be this payoff at the end where she'd look up and there'd be like a star, or I don't know. I'd lost all faith that they were going to do something good with it. But then the ending was like, actually, he's got a bench, so she looks down. Like, where was the look up payoff? Did that just get cut? I just didn't...
Well, she did, like when she was writing in the last, like the closing
look
image.
up, you're right.
She looked up then when she did that, but it was kind of
like, what, you
look down and carry on writing.
Yeah, that's just how people do journaling.
And
you don't just live like this once you've started.
He keeps saying it as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, keep looking up like he knows something we all don't. But I've seen loads of stuff, and very rarely do I stand in dog shit. So who's winning there, Tom? You know, and I'm not looking up all the time. I bet his shoes are covered, minging.
I would like to remind you, Conal, he's a ghost. And
maybe. Yeah.
And he also he's visited the land beyond. He's seen way more stuff than you.
Yeah.
Why ever fight?
He stands in loads of ghost dog poo.
Shit.
What, the white stuff that you don't get anymore since the 1980s? I can't believe I've just done we don't get white dog pooch.
What's the deal with airline peanuts, eh? A big thing in this film is that they really hammer home that how much of a mess her life is. It's quite clear that they're wanting to give a kind of Fleabag energy to the state of her current life. But the thing is, she's not that bad. I mean, she's kind of couch surfing a bit and she gets a bit pissed at a pregnant friend's house. But it's not apocalypse. It's not Fleabag, which is great, which is definitely trying to be. Her sister character might as well be the sister from Fleabag. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
And
but
all my sympathy for her goes out the window when I realise that both her mum and dad live in London. So she's got plenty of places to stay. And her mum's back bedroom's covered in George Michael posters. She'd love it in there.
I mean, I would like to, just to counterpoint, maybe that says a bit about your life, Joe, or your 20s maybe, that you think frying your mate's fish, setting your friend's matchstick galleon, like getting chucked out everywhere you go.
Small potatoes, mate.
Small potatoes. Am I one of these middle-class do-gooders like her that doesn't understand what real life is?
I can tell you safely, I never had any hairdryer related accidents. Okay, that was not in my bailiwick. This is directed by Paul Feig. He directed Bridesmaids, which is one of the best comedy films of the past 20 years. That's a proper film.
But he also directed the new Ghostbusters. So
which one?
The women all.
That was rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was rubbish, that one. And it seems like that kind of humor that I think made that Ghostbusters quite shit has kind of bled into a lot of other comedies. That kind of, someone says something a bit seriously and then someone goes, did you think that was going to sound good? Why didn't it? No, no, it was fine. Maybe you need to work on it a bit. Just tell a joke.
Stay back.
Are you seriously doing a James Bond impression?
Now's not the time for unpleasantness.
So, who was that creepy child catcher knobhead who Santa's trying to shag? Who was it? What were he about?
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the conclusion on it.
I think sauerkraut, and he likes Christmas.
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
We haven't.
That's writing for you.
Talked about some of these characters.
No.
Her boss is called Santa. Is that funny? Because I don't get it if it is.
I liked it. Just one for me, I guess.
But it's fair to say, and I mean this, I don't mean this in the pejorative, but this film opens every window on the woke advent calendar. You've got every stripe there. And yet you've got that German character whose job is as an expert of sauerkraut. What? That's after all this other work you've done, all races, genders, sexualities, everything's there. And then suddenly you've got this Germans. Where did that come from?
Germans and the things they eat. Don't get me started.
Probably does it efficiently. You know what they're like.
Of all the things in my life, this is my best thing.
What is?
Christmas.
I just found it really disappointing, to be honest. Like, I know based on what you've just said, this sounds a bit silly, but I found it a bit weird, the choice to make like a rom-com based around the music of George Michael that was heterosexual. I just found that a bit like a wasted opportunity, really, because
what you were looking for was a toilet scene where a policeman came in.
I mean, yeah, kind of. It is in central London. I mean, look up.
But don't make eye contact with me.
Remain looking up. Don't look down.
That's the more important line. Don't look down.
Yeah, I just felt that was a bit. It was a bit shoehorned in. Like, apart from the very clever twist, apart from that, it didn't really. It wasn't about George Michael or inspired by George Michael. They weren't even Greek. I was like, oh, they're migrants, so maybe they'll be Greek or something. There was just nothing, and then they just shoehorned in a bit at the beginning where they were like, oh, I've always loved George Michael. It's always really spoken to me. Close brackets. We can use the music however we like now. I don't know. I mean, I guess Mamma Mia isn't inherently about ABBA either, but like, it just, the music didn't even really fit.
No,
it's
absolutely
not. It's
right.
not really part of it. It's just sort of. It's a soundtrack. It's not. Even though I called it a jukebox music, it's not a musical. There's only 2 performances in it, and they're both George Michael songs, but you know, it's not a musical. It's a film with some music.
Yeah, I mean, I like Lizzy. You text me saying, "I can see why they waited until George Michael died till they released this." His estate should sue, because I mean, that guy kind of invented 80s Christmas in a kind of roundabout way, and they don't do the fella a great service.
Just disappointed.
What do you think, as a group, a lovely group exercise, were there any kind of sections of the writing that were the most choice for you, that really stood out as like, this has been made?
I think the only thing I remember at the time that stood out was when Emma Thompson was watching the news, and it was a Brexit march, a pro-Brexit march, and she was saying, oh, they're going to send us back, and then it just cuts to something else, and I was like, what? Like, they just lobbed in a Brexit grenade and then just exited it out. And then I mean, it does get tied up later, but yeah, I don't think. No, I don't think there's much. Yeah, not that there's not much writing. That sounds terrible, but I don't think it's about the writing. I think it's about beats rather than. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's 2 bits that stood out to me. One that was an obvious mistake, and one that was like pretty good, right? So the obvious mistake, he's singing to her to get her to sleep, and he sings a
Listen to my simple story. Maybe we'll have something to show.
Wrong choice. It should have been Club Tropicana. No doubt. It should have been Club Tropicana. Just before that, I think it's just before that, the bit that I really liked, the sexy scar touching scene. I liked that. Really worked for me. What the fuck was that about? Leave that shit.
If you like that, I've got another film that you might like. It's called Crash. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's another bit where she says, why is my life so shit?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it's kind of funny to say in real life, but it's such a lazy statement of theme.
I think they had a missed opportunity, you know, when they did the totally unnecessary flashbacks, because it's like, guys, I think we can imagine what she looks like in the scenes we've seen with him without him there, because he basically wasn't there anyway, because he doesn't have any characteristics.
Yeah.
But they showed all of it, like a lot of them were like, yeah, okay, that's what she looks like ice skating alone. Oh, that's what she looked like on that bench alone. But none of the kissing.
No, that's exactly it.
I wanted to see one-sided. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be amazing.
Just a wasted opportunity.
And
Good physical acting.
And no scenes of people in the background looking at her like, when she's talking to herself.
Were you on Game of Thrones?
Especially because she's dressed as an elf. Like, I mean,
all the time.
You okay? You got to pay someone.
She's dressed as an elf, talking to herself, pulling a suitcase in central London.
She was working in a Santa.
Always pissed. Like
she was working in a Santa's grotto in Westfield shopping centre, and an agent went, "You've got what it takes, sister.
I'm gonna make you a star.
Taking you to Northern Ireland to film some dragons." I mean, there was some clangers like he's going to think we walked into a llama enclosure.
Oh yeah, because of the eyelashes. Yeah.
Is that the best you've got, guys? Come on.
Probably, yeah. I think that's the case, isn't it? That is the best they've got.
Yeah.
We'll leave it then. Someone should have read it and gone, don't put it out. You don't have to put it out. No one's forcing you to. I mean, I can already hear George spinning in his grave. So if we put it out, it's just going to get worse, isn't it?
You know, George would have loved this. It was great to work with Emma Thompson. He'd have loved all that stuff. He'd have there at the premiere. Oh, we miss him.
And how much money did it make? Like, was it a massive flop?
So the budget of this film was $25 million. And the box office was $123 million. So it's far from a flop. It was actually a smash hit.
Are we wrong?
No, not at all. No. The Angry Birds film was a massive hit. Yeah.
Shit.
I do like Emilia Clarke. I will say that. I think she's really good. And I saw her in the other one. Oh, is it Me Before You? The other one she did. Sam Claflin. And I cried a lot to that film. I was hormonal, so I'm not sure whether it was good or not. But I think she's really good at rom-coms. Like, I back her. I think she could be the British Julia Roberts if she
big claim. I like that.
Yeah. If I died in, say, like a bus crash, I'd want her to have my heart.
I saw her in one.
You've got a brother, by the way.
I'd want her to have, and a daughter.
Yeah, she'd have to go through me first. Piss off, Amelia. Get your own fucking heart.
Nope, I'm giving it to her.
Go ask your mum, tap your mum up for a heart. This is mine. And I'd hold it in front of her. Like that. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I saw her in a film called, I think it was called Spike Island, about the
Was she in
Stone
that?
Roses. And it were all right.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah.
She's definitely charming. She's definitely
she was best bit about that film.
Not the Stone Roses music.
Oh,
leave it. They go on a bit, don't they?
More of a lightning.
7 minutes later, you're like, come on, wrap it up, Ian.
It takes time for people to fall in love with you.
It is like a Hallmark film without any of the kind of naff charm shone through the prism of a terrible episode of Miranda. You know, it's got that feeling to it, I think. But yeah.
I wonder though if that we feel that way because we're British and because all three of us are from London. Like if we were watching this, not having lived in this city, not knowing that a 24/7, 365 Christmas shop could not pay the rent at Covent Garden, not knowing that, how does he's a part-time cycle courier and a homeless charity volunteer, and he wears a lot of cashmere, and he has a bedsit of his own in East London. We know these things aren't real, but if you're watching it from abroad, would you have a different perspective?
Got his own ice skates as well.
Got his own ice skates. Why did you have two pairs of ice skates?
Like completely empty flat, but just ice skates.
And also she had two pairs. She had his pair and her pair. So where did she get his pair from?
I mean, she's unwell.
And why was that not the moment she realized that she was seeing things, when she was ice skating and the boots that she'd brought with her, the other pair, just did nothing. And she's like skating around like, yeah, this is so much fun.
All the times he was riding his bike to her or pushing his bike along, like that bike is just going on its own.
Yeah.
Also, he just did random pirouettes. Like, what was he a dancer? I assumed he was going to be a dancer, but that wasn't ever.
No.
Maybe he had a dance break to Freedom at some point and it got cut. Like maybe it was leading up to something.
That's a real loss if true, because that would have been the high point of the film.
Oh, well, I'm definitely in the wrong game because I've just written that out of nowhere again. The ideas.
You're wasted on this shit.
I'm wasted.
My other favorite detail was that somebody broke into the Christmas shop. I mean, it's one of those things that would seem like a really good idea, and then you'd be in and you'd be like, oh, There's no cash on the premises. Like what?
Yeah.
You're not wrong. They break in and don't take any stock. They don't take anything.
No, but have you seen the stock though?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can tell through the window. Yeah, Gary, should we break in here? No, there's a bank over there. But
Yeah.
they break in, and then all the police are there and stuff, and they say, "Oh, the insurance will cover it." It's like 3 days to Christmas. They're like, do you know how long it takes for insurance claims to get cleared? You're living in a fantasy land. Or peregrine falcons in Covent Garden shitting in the Queen of Dragon's eyes. This is, I didn't like this as much as you lot. Rubbish.
No, but do you remember that meme that was always like, you know, Susan was texting her boyfriend and he didn't answer her and she was in hospital. She just had this horrible car accident and, you know, she was texting her boyfriend to try and get him to meet her at the hospital, and he just didn't come and he didn't reply, and she was so upset. And then she had this surgery and she woke up and she was like, "Where's my boyfriend?" And they're like, "Who do you think gave you the heart?" It's like that, but a film.
Whoa, that's already better than this.
It was quite good.
Congratulations.
Did you
You're in
write
the wrong
that?
game. Yes.
Did you write that?
Yes, I did.
That's
Yeah,
bloody
yeah.
Good, is that? Emma Thompson will be banging your door down.
Yeah,
Don't you
yeah,
worry.
yeah.
I can't wait. I don't care. I'll write anything with her.
As long as there's a Yugoslavian accent in it that she can do, she'd love it.
Base it on the music of Erasure. So that's it from us. We've got 5 more of these, so we do hope you join us for some more. Next one will be in a couple of days, but we do hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. All that Facebook, social media nonsense. But yeah, lovely. Thanks a million. We'll see you some more. Bye-bye.